We took the recipes from the European Union. We took the recipes from the United States. None of the recipes worked. More bloodshed, more people were dying. So what do? Okay, we do something and we save people. And now we're the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. But suddenly something's bad. Oh, but you shouldn't do that. You should do what I think you should do. Why? Not only we have the right to do what we think is right and what the Salvadoran people are going to decide whether or not they want this day in free elections, but also we've proven it works. And you haven't proven that your system works in our country. Might work in yours, I don't know. But it doesn't work in ours. It's like I told one time a member of the European Union, I know you Brexited that, but I told a member of the European Union, you take your best government, choose your best government. I don't know what's the best government in Europe, but you choose your best government. Same people, same talent, same experts, same will to do things the right way. You take your best government and you put him to govern Afghanistan and tell them, okay, you govern Afghanistan the same way you govern this European country. You'll be dead in a week because you cannot govern Afghanistan like you govern Europe. So stop trying to make us use your recipes because they don't work here. You have your own system. We don't tell you that you shouldn't have a monarchy. I mean, we're fine with your monarchy. We love your monarchy. It's fine. But we don't say, oh, you shouldn't have a monarchy and you shouldn't have hereditary titles. Why? Because it's your country. You can do whatever you want with it. But suddenly, we have to do what you want to do with our country. So, but what I'm gonna finish the question is that this has been proven by all of you and by all independent sources. El Salvador was turned from the most dangerous place in the world to the safest in the Western Hemisphere. That's not a small feat. And that's not done easily. And nobody in the world has ever done it before, so fast and so clean like we have done it here, with no civilian casualties. So, I don't know. I know it's different. I know the numbers from the UK and ours will be different for maybe a couple of decades. But we're doing our best here, and we're really trying. And the Salvadoran people today are going to vote freely in free and fair elections and in full democracy and choose their own path.
What's going on, everyone? So I was here today, and I want to give my analysis on the El Salvadorian president wrecking this BBC reporter. BBC is a British news channel. I don't know. All I know is I think it's government funded. But I want to highlight some of the things that he mentioned that, hey, you can't argue with the results. Hey, stop trying to get me to do what you want me to do. And it's been a common problem from the political left and the globalist political left. It seems like they want everyone should have no guns. Right, I think Piers Morgan is the biggest flag carrier for that movement in the UK, talking about how all of the US problems are centered around guns and that he believed that guns should be banned in the US. Look, we have zero gun deaths. Piers Morgan likes to brag, but Piers Morgan don't like to mention that they have a higher rate of theft in their country, higher rate of attempted robbery, burglary, assault. They have higher rates of assault than here in the US because they don't have guns. And it's like the left can't understand trade-offs. It's like the left live in the theoretical. In the theory, if we take up all the guns, we'll eliminate gun deaths completely. That's not how real life works. When you remove guns out of a society, and there's been some studies that suggest this, that the more guns you have, the less crime the area has, because there's a consequence. There's a physical consequence to the assaulter or to the criminal if he picks the wrong person. Right, a gun behind every door. I think this was done in Texas. They compared neighborhoods with high rates of gun ownership and another neighborhood with low rates of gun ownership. Based on your common sense, based on your theories, guys, across this camera, who do you think had the highest crime rates? I kind of gave the answer already, but it's areas with low gun ownership. Those are the areas that have the most crime rates. Right, and then you see it also globally in the UK. UK now, they're thinking about, I forgot some famous fighter, his brother got stabbed because in the UK, they replaced guns with knives. Now they're stabbing people with knives, robbing you, killing you. And now the country is asking for knife bans. Imagine that. Still not realizing the human is the problem. Not realizing that the gun is the great equalizer. But hey, they keep trying to push everyone to be like them. Oh, US should ban the guns. Oh, you guys love your guns too much. And then the political left here, because they want tyranny, they want full government control, and they know they can't have full government control as long as citizens have guns. They go, yeah, you should ban them. You should ban them. Oh, the U.S. have a mass shooting problem. These are trade-offs that our society are willing to take. And one of the problems why we have so much gun deaths in our society, why we have so much mass shooting in our society, is because the left like to disarm innocent people. instead of allowing teachers to be armed in schools, instead of using some resources for designated security who are armed, they rather make the area a gun-free zone and pretend that burglars don't break laws. Like, imagine that. You create a law, say no guns allowed, and guess what the mass shooters do? Go to the area that says no guns allowed, because they know, oh, innocent people ain't gonna be armed. Only criminals like me will be. That's the reality of gun control. But the left has not learned that yet. 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities are run by Democrats. Now, this is a stat that has been found recently. Not recently. This has been around for a while now. I believe this is since 2022, November 2022. This stat's been around. And these are the kind of people of this political ideology that tries to tell you what to do. And then the results speak for themselves. Hey, yo, your stuff don't work either. The El Salvadorian president is right on this one. But you think the left is going to sit there, reflect, and change their mind? Hell no. Because that's part of what they want. They want society run by criminals. I heard a story recently that someone tried to stop a criminal from doing something, and he ended up being in cuffs. Maybe someone can tell me the actual story in the comment section, but I don't remember right now on the top of my head as I'm doing this video. Right, and then I also wanted to highlight also that how I think the left like to push atheism and secularism and say, secular societies are the better societies, when historically that's never been really true. Hitler's society was a secular society. Stalin's society was a secular society. I think North Korea is a secular society. They worship him as a god. And secularism doesn't mean you remove worship of authority. You merely replace the authority from a being that's above humans to a human. And I think that's what's going on. Secular government is really worshiping of the state. That's what a secular government is, really. And that's why the founding fathers wanted a balance of both. They wanted a religious people and a secular government to counterbalance each other. But then when you just have secularism everywhere, you get a Nazi Germany. I assume that you get a state that's trying to control the people, trying to get them to fall in line in the name of the state, right? And in this case, America, we're supposed to be the slave state. We're supposed to be the mercenary state. We're supposed to do the bidding of every global interest in the world at the expense of ourselves. And that's how I see America right now. But I digress. I want to show this clip of him winning. I think he won re-election. I think the people loved him so much that I think he was now supposed to win again. I think I don't remember. I don't know much about El Salvadorian politics. Maybe someone in the comment section can enlighten me on this. But in his victory speech, he talks about how a lot of these people like to force their ideas on him. Let's take a look.
Y ahora que nos vieron hacer un milagro, que la verdad hay que darle la gloria a Dios. Porque ¿qué somos nosotros? Si no herramientas todos, herramientas de Dios. Dios quiso sanar nuestro país y lo sanó. A través de un pueblo unido que decidió dejar el pasado atrás y decidió tomar las riendas de su propio destino. Ya veo los titulares. Bukele menciona a Dios y el país debe ser laico. Es que hasta eso nos quieren imponer, que seamos ateos. Nosotros respetamos a todas las religiones, respetamos a los ateos, a los agnósticos, los respetamos y somos sus amigos, pero déjennos creer en Dios. Y déjennos darle la gloria si así lo queremos. ¿En qué les molesta? ¿En qué les afecta? Tal vez les afecta el ejemplo, porque tal vez las poblaciones de sus países a las que les han metido el ateísmo empiecen también o vuelvan a creer en Dios. Ustedes han visto, gracias a Dios y gracias a este pueblo noble y unido, cómo El Salvador pasó de ser el más inseguro al más seguro. Ahora, en estos próximos 5 años, esperen a ver lo que vamos a hacer.
Yeah, I never understood that, right? Like, they will remove the Bible out of schools, right? But then they'll still want to preach like atheist thinking. Like, to me, that's not like teaching. In my view, this is just my personal view. Maybe you guys can come to different conclusions from this video, from my view on this thing. But I think ideology shouldn't really be taught in government schools, because teaching an ideology to me is akin to teaching a religion. Because at this point, I agree with the Bible's premise. The Bible's premise is human beings do not kill God. They cannot kill God. They merely replace him with something else. That's the Bible's whole thesis on human nature. And it's been proven right time and time again. You see atheists that can't see reason. They snobbily, arrogantly think they know that God doesn't exist because they didn't see it. You didn't see me get born, but you know it happened. But you didn't see with your own eyes. Like how you know this person's my mother? Oh, DNA test. Right? But all these little context clues that we see that, hey, like maybe this didn't happen in random. But they arrogantly say, oh no, it didn't. It did. I believe the most honest answer is I don't know. But in the Christian side, the people who do believe in God, they don't claim to know that God exists. They say they believe God exists. That means it's based on faith. They have faith that, hey, I'll be proven right. Just like you have faith in a theory. Oh, I have a theory that if we study this will be the result. You have a faith that this will be the outcome. It's the same thing that Christians are practicing. Applied faith. They're the most honest position. This is why I lean more towards there being a God, there being a creator, because I believe it's the most honest position. I think the most dishonest position is saying that God doesn't exist when you don't have any clear evidence or proof for that. And this is why I say atheism is I think it's a fractured framework. I think it doesn't really offer anything to the world. And I think liberals in the past was right to call it out, because I don't know if atheists know this, because a lot of atheists will sit here and pretend that atheism is ethos to liberalism, and it's not. Liberals in the past was saying there's two things they would want to ban: religion and atheism. So essentially equating atheism to some type of secular religion. But separation of church and state, like this is the problem I have. You doing a double standard here. But I digress. Liberals, liberals and the people of the political left only believe that you're allowed to be like them and nothing else. That's the pretty much gist of it. But I'll take this time to also mention Javier Milei. Argentina sees first monthly budget surplus in 12 years. Democrats have been fighting Republicans about this for like zero-based budgeting, right? The Argentinian government in January said its first monthly budget surplus in nearly 12 years. As the new president, Javier Milei, continues to push for strong spending cuts, the economic ministry announces. January was the first full month in office for Mr. Milei, a far-right libertarian. I don't know about far-right, but I just think he's a classical. I think he's just a libertarian. I don't know why they put far-right here. Who took office in December and ended with a positive balance for the public sector finances of US dollars of $589 million. At the official exchange rate, the government said late February 16th. The figure includes payments of interest on the public debt, which is good, right? So in 2011, according to and the funny part is Milei has been negotiating with the International Monetary Fund over the US $44 billion loan and has vowed to achieve balance in public finances in 2021. Like the attempt to balance the budget. And I know a lot of Democrats are going to come in my comment section and say, oh, Reagan promised to balance the budget and he never did. Well, there was a lot of circumstances surrounding during Reagan's presidency. It's because at the end of the day, we have Democrats. At the end of the day, if you expect Republicans to compromise with Democrats, you know that the Democrats was going to want what? More spending. So how are you going to, it's like, this is how I equate our current government bloat. The Republicans are like the frugal father. And the Democrats is like the lavishly spending mother. Can you achieve a balancing budget in a marriage with a saver and a spender? You cannot. The spender will spend more money than the saver can actually theoretically save. The only way the household's going to have a balanced budget if the spender, the saver, can restrict the spending of restrict the spender. That's the only way that you're going to have a surplus and have a savings in a marriage, in a relationship, in a household. This is the government. We got two parties. One party saying, hey, let's zero-based budget. Look, it works. Milei is doing it. A zero deficit is not negotiable, right? Milei was a former economist, right? And that's the funny part with these politicians. None of them are former anything. Most of them are lawyers, I believe. And they think they know how to manage money and finances. When people who look at the experts, who look at economists and say, hey, look, we should try this approach. We've been trying the modern monetary theory stuff, and it's killing us with inflation. We can't keep doing this way. Let's go to zero-based budgeting, and let's get a surplus like Javier Milei. No, we don't want that. And it's the same kind of thinking that you saw in the intro of the video with the BBC reporter. asking, oh, why you're so tough on crime? Don't you think it's humane? Look, we're looking for a result. We want a safe society. Anyway, criminals are a minority in the society. They're doing something that actively hurts the society. We have to take proper action against them. And just because it doesn't work in their country, but he was being nice there. Because he's the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. He said it himself. Even safer than the UK. But the UK want to pretend that they got everything all figured out. They want to have their little political pundits like, what's his name, Trevor Noah, talking about how they should restrict guns over there. Knowing nothing about American history, the prestige, the culture there. Yo, we live by the gun. Like, it's like you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If we advocate for guns, we'll die by the guns. But that's not the case. We have more guns than people, yet if you look at the percentages of the guns used to commit murder, it's a small minority. But because of the actions of the small minority, you want to punish everybody. Make it make sense. A minority of black people commit crimes, so we should punish all black people. Is that what you're going to say? This is how gun control and gun bans come across to gun owners. So you want to punish the responsible for the irresponsible. Is this collectivist thinking? Instead of judging the individual and punishing the individuals, you want to cascade the whole group because you gain some type of benefit and power from it. And this is my problem with a lot of liberals, a lot of people on the political left. Liberals, because sometimes I think they're moral cowards and they allow the political left to push them into these authoritarian things. This is why I also blame liberals and the political left who wants to engage in authoritarianism and want to take over the system so they can centralize power and run this place like a monarchy. That's the truth. That's what I'm just thinking. That's why I said Alexander Hamilton was the first real progressive, because he wanted a type of monarchy system the same way we have in Britain. In Britain, I was like, I'm glad Thomas Jefferson talked everyone out of that path. But we're slowly trying to get there, because to me, monarchy is a type of socialism. Any trying to centralize power is essentially you're demanding socialism. So I don't know. I just know that the group of people who have the worst crime problems have no place to speak and tell a president who has a high approval rating how to do something when it's working. That's the problem I have with a lot of these liberals. They want you to take down their positions, but it doesn't benefit you in any way to do those positions. They don't know how to make a persuasive argument. They're just used to stabbing their feet and making demands. Like the typical authoritarians that a lot of them are acting like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with the El Salvadoran president? Do you think here in America we need to take more efforts like we see of our brethren on the other side of the pond? I'd like to hear your thoughts about this topic in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.